Hello everyone, welcome to the Halloween live stream. So we have one people watching. I hope other people will be able to join later. So welcome or welcome back. What we will do today, I hope the sound is working. It seems to be the case. Oh, now up to 3 viewers. Oh, everyone is joining at the exact right time. So we just started. So, what we will do tonight? We will take the extension from last year. So maybe you have seen those. Maybe you have seen those videos from last year. So it was back. The first video was back on beta 10, and we made this extension. And so it was an extension where you can draw on pumpkins. And then there was a list of all the submissions, and people could like or unlike. They could like or remove their likes from the entries, and the entries were sorted by the number of likes. To participate, you had a button. Then you could draw on the pumpkin, and what did we have? So here I think there was some issues, but they were fixed in the later version, which I will show you. So you were able to draw on the pumpkin using the circle. You could choose the size of the circle. So this little thing here to draw on the pumpkin was not made with Mithril. It was just like a JavaScript application, and then it was made to fit inside of a Mithril component, and then it was used inside of Flarum. And I think we only saved the negative of whatever you draw. So actually, I think we saved a black and white picture with just what you draw, and in the background there was automatically the pumpkin. And I think the background here is animated to give like an idea of a glowing fire. It changes. It's not always the exact same color. It's really a hole inside of the pumpkin. Yeah, and then you could name your creation and submit, and it will be added to the list. And there were no limit. There was not much. And administrators, they were able to delete entries. So the little trash icon, yeah, and you could see who made it, at what time, how many likes, yeah. And then we made another episode later where we added some new features. So here I have the extension on beta 13. I don't remember which version of Flarum we used last, but we made a few changes, like the like button was not really pretty, so now there was a big like button, and when you go over it says unlike, and then you can, so there was like this feature. I think the UI was a bit improved, and there were some additional filters, so you could choose to see the most recent, most likes, fewer likes, and most ancient. And there was also now a refresh button to see the new list. And I think the composer, so I think it was the same, nothing changed here. Yeah, nothing was modified. And the square was showing a big square instead of just the edge. Okay, anyway, so we will take this extension. Oh, but yeah, no one is commenting. I forgot to switch the screen. I forgot to switch the screen. Someone tell me that I make mistakes. So this was the extension on beta 10 that we made in the first stream. And here I will show again for the stream. So you were able to draw on the pumpkin. You could choose between circle carving and square carving. And you could also choose the size of the square or the circle. Then you could give a name, submit, and then there was a list, and people could like or unlike, and when you like, it goes up in the list, and the most likes was at the start. So this was the beta 10 version, and then there was a beta 13 or maybe beta 12, I don't remember, but here I have it on beta 13, and here you could make there was a new button with a new design, and there was also the filters. Yeah, so now we will take this extension, we will make it work on beta 14, and then we will make some additional features. So first challenge is to find it. So carving contest, this must be the one. So last commit, like, oh no, there was something 6 months ago, but maybe it was just dependencies update. Yeah, last actual work was on December last year. So yeah. You don't hesitate. Please tell me if there is a problem with the sound or something. Or yeah, I'm not seeing any comment yet, but I will continue. Okay, so we will clone this extension on my beta 14 forum. So beta 14, I will go to my workbench and I will clone the extension. Next, let's go to the folder. Let's open it inside of PHP Storm. So open beta 14, carving. It's not there. Refresh. Yes, it's here. Carving contest. Open in this window. Let's take a quick look before installing the dependencies. So, this extension is one of the few that uses an assets folder. I don't do that often, but I did it here because it was the easiest solution. So we had just the pumpkin icon. I think it must be how is that website called again? It's one of those copyleft pictures. So JavaScript, let's see package.json. Here we have, yes, this will work on the latest Flarum. We had migrations. We had some CSS, translations. We had a bunch of PHP. Yeah, and let's take a look at the requirements. So this one was actually compatible all the way from beta 10 to beta 13. Cool. So now we will update the dependencies. So we will start at beta 14 and go no higher than lower than beta 15. And the reason it's important to do it like this and not just put just beta 14 without greater or equal is that if Flarum makes a patch update, so like beta 14.1, here it will not install the update. And that's actually important because Flarum will do that just about now. I don't know if it's been released yet. There was a patch release. So yeah. So it's important to do it like this, smaller than beta 15. That way any patch to beta 14 can be installed as well. I think I'm almost out of the frame, so I will just adjust the camera a bit. It's not better. Yeah, let's go with that. I'm again a bit in the dark. I hope you can still see me. Yeah. Hello, Tanker Killer. I always remember the usernames and forgot the actual name, but hello. I will just use the people's username in the chat. Let's do something. So I will install the JavaScript. So let's go to my carving. Let's go to the JavaScript. Let's open a console. Again, like the other time, I will delete the log file because I don't care about keeping the same versions. I will update everything. Then I can do yarn install to install all of the latest version possible. I will also install the PHP. So I think I already had a terminal for that one. So composer install, that way PHP Storm can do the autocomplete and check for deprecations. And while I'm at it, I can also install the extension on my beta 14. Composer require Clark / Flarum X carving contest and @dev to install the version from my workbench folder. And then we wait, as always. Oh, the JavaScript is done. But before compiling the JavaScript, I want to do something I forgot to do last time, I think, is to test the extension before updating it for beta 14. That way you can see what will happen if we don't update the JavaScript. Okay, everything is ready, so now I can switch to beta 14. Let's go to the admin panel, extensions, and where is it? Carving contest, let's enable, and things will probably go wrong. So here nothing went wrong, but I think there are no settings inside of the extension. So far so good. Even the permissions, I think, still work. So I'm still able to see that, but here things will probably break. You see we still have catch the fish enabled. I think I will disable it to remove any confusion. So let's disable this one. What else can I disable? Let's disable things that I don't need. Yeah, we can go like this. Okay, let's refresh and see if everything breaks. Yes, it breaks, of course. So you can see the kind of errors you can get when you install a beta 13 extension on beta 14. The children attributes of attributes should never be used. So that's a typical one. So this means there is an attribute named children somewhere, which we need to replace. T.state is undefined. I'm not sure where this one comes from, but that also looks like something that will happen in an update. Do we have something else? T.state, and that's all. Okay, so obviously we have to start fixing stuff. So again, I will take the list of typical things to update, and I will take care of them. Let's put a bit more light. in the cam view, it seems like it's dark, but it's still not dark. It will get dark before the stream finishes, but there is still light for now. Okay, let's get started. So do we start with the PHP or the JavaScript? So the JavaScript is the one we will notice here. So let's start with JavaScript this time. I think last time we started with PHP, but let's start with JavaScript. So src admin. So there is not a lot of code, not as much as in the catch the fish extension from last time. So this should be pretty easy. Let's take a look at the admin first. Here I think we will be good. So here we have a children attribute, but it's not actually it's not a mithril component. It's just a plain old JavaScript object that's used by the group, by the permission items stuff. So actually this is not an issue. This is not related to the children of components. So here I think we're good. We are good to go. So this is okay, and it will work without any change on beta 14. But the same is not true for the front end. So let's see. So here we have an import that is not used, so we can remove it. We have a model, so this did not change. We have a root, this changed, so here we need to just pass the name of the component. Here we add an item, here we have a children property, so that's probably the one that was causing the issue, so we move it to the second parameter. And I think just with this, the error should go away, but we have not fixed everything yet. But just to see that it works. It will work if we compile the JavaScript. So I go back to the console in the JS folder and I start the yarn dev command. That way the files are watched. And now if I refresh my application, which is in debug mode, now it updates. What? YouTube is again complaining about the stream quality. But I never noticed. Every time it happened, no one was noticing anything, and I was not noticing anything in the replay. So yeah, let me know if the video cuts, but my internet should be good enough for this. So now we can load the forum again, but I think there will be some error if we go to the contest page. This .entries is undefined, so we have again some problems. So now we will go through all of the JavaScript and update everything we see. So let's go back to PHP Storm. Let's check out first the model. Here I think it will be mostly okay. The only change we will make is to drop the mixin, like I did in my other extension. This is not a beta 14 change, but it seems like the mixin is mostly not useful. So we will probably remove it in a future Flarum version. So now I'm doing this in all of my extensions. That way, if there is a problem by removing it, hopefully I will notice before we make the change in Flarum to deprecate that mixin stuff. And here we can just extend the model, remove this, and yeah. So that's it. This is not a beta 14 change, but I'm doing this for experimental purpose. Yeah. Now let's go to the components. So we have the contest page. So you saw that we had an error with this.entries is undefined. And where is that this.entries variable defined? It's defined in init, but init no longer exists. Now it's on init. So we will use on init, and we also need to add the vnode parameter to on init. So now this should be called again. This I think will still work. I think a lot of things. So I think the lazy redraw will need to change. I think we will just put redraw. I don't know why there was a lazy redraw. I never really understood the difference between the normal redraw and the lazy redraw. But anyway, this will work fine. Let's go down. Do we have some children properties? Yes, we have a children property here. So we will take all of this away from the children property and just put it inside of the second parameter. Let's continue. Here we have a modal. So this changes. So modals now you call with the name of the class and the attributes as a second parameter. Let's continue to go down. We have a children property. This one becomes a second attribute. Here we have another children property. Again, it becomes the second attribute instead of being in the attributes array. Here we have a modal close. This one does not change, but here we have a modal open. This one changes. Again, we pass the attributes as a second parameter to the modal. Next we have other children. Here you see what I'm doing. I don't even need to know how the extension works. I just go through the files. Most of these changes are really obvious. You can just reading the code you can see. Here I see I have a m.prop thing. So I will check this one later. I just need to not forget about it. Because the props are a bit more complex, because what I did last time, usually I try to drop using props completely instead of using the new alternative name. So we will check if we can remove it later. So for now, let's just check that we remove all of the children. No, there are still some children, so let's move this one. Children, it's good, and now we had also the modal.show. Let's check if we missed one. So here we fixed it, here we fixed it, that's all. So that's good for the children and modals. Let's go to the next. Oh, did we have some config? Oh yeah, we had some config method. So this one we can also replace right now. So here we had a link, and we use the config m.root to make it root inside of the single page application. But now this no longer does anything. What we need to do is to use a component here which is called link, and we can import the link from Flarum. So let's go to components and let's import the link. Import link from Flarum components link, and this link will be used in place, and it does the same. So now we no longer have any config. We need to do the same thing here. So here we had the config, we had the link. We'll just pass link. We will remove the config. We will import the link, and we will also import the global app object. Just because I don't like seeing it like this. Next, we have a props. So props become attributes. This.attrs. Did we have one in the first component? I didn't check. So prop. We had just a prop, but we did not have props. That's not the same thing. Props in plural is what is now called attrs, and the prop is a special object in Mitchell that was dropped. So this one we still take a look later when we do the pumpkin canvas. Now we have another modal. So here we have props as well, so we will take care of these afterwards. Here we have a children. Let's move the children to a new property. We also have some BD or BID, I don't know how you pronounce this one. I think we should call them BID because it's for bidirectional. So these one they still work, so we can keep them like this. Here we have another children. Okay. Here we have the image and the name. But now, so this is where the things get different from last time. So here I'm using props, and I'm using them in one of the few ways where it makes sense. So why is that? So usually if you have just name and you put it inside of a prop, you could just have a non-prop. This is actually what we will do here. So actually I think all of these, how do I do this? So all of the first three, I will change them. So here there are props that contain a string, a number, and a string. I will just put the value inside of the variable without a prop. So by doing this here, actually it still works basically the same, because the only benefit of using a prop here was to trigger a mutual refresh, a mutual redraw. But that's not needed because every time you do a non-click, it also redraws. So technically this is not needed. So this one we can just, so when we read it, we can just read the value without the parentheses. And when we change the value, we can just use a set with equal. So let's just do it like this. Here we have tool with. Oh yeah, that was another change. Oh yeah, that was another benefit when we had BID, because then we could just pass the attribute like this, the prop, and then it will work with BID. So here it changes, but actually I prefer to do it separately. That way I don't depend on BID, because that's not standard in Mitchell. I don't like it very much. So here we will just do it like this. We will do on change event, and then we will set the value ourselves. So this dot tool with equals event dot target dot value, and here I think we can also use a parse int. That way the value has a type that we are certain of. Like this. I think that, no, that was not the only BID, so we had another BID here, so we will use the same thing mostly. So here we had the name, this dot name, and when it changes we will set it, but without the parse int. like this. I think that's mostly it. So when we read the values, now we can just remove this, and also, oh, there is so much to change. Oh yeah, the image we didn't change yet. So here we passed, it seems like we passed the prop. We didn't pass the value, we passed the prop. But now, the second reason why props are useful, they are objects. And objects are passed by reference, not by value. So here, when we pass the image inside of Pumpkin Canvas, we're actually passing a reference to the prop, and Pumpkin Canvas is able to edit the image. If we change it to properties like we did for the tool shape and tool width, in just variables, now they are passed by value, and the component is unable to edit, to change the value. So yeah, so we have a few options. So we can either keep a prop, that way when it changes inside of the canvas, it will go up in the tree of components, or we can have a callback that's called when the image changes. And actually I prefer to have a callback. So let's take a look at the Pumpkin Canvas. So this one contained a lot of code for other things. So let's take a look first at the tool. So we have the tool width, and we have the, oh yeah, and we used the static. Why do we have that? So here we have something that sets, this is really not something pretty, and I don't think we need it. Maybe we used it at the very beginning before we had this. Yeah, so we will drop the init props. We don't need to care about that. Next we will, so the tool, so tool width, this one we will change. So this becomes an attribute, and we will, and it's no longer a prop like this. And then we have tool shape. So this one also becomes just a variable. And that's it already. Okay, good. Now let's see what else we can do. So this component, there is a lot inside of here, and I don't want to go into too much details. You can watch the other videos where I think I explain kind of like this kind of what this component does. I think I did not show on video how I wrote this component, but we will not care too much about the details. So here what we had with the image stuff, it's like, so the image, so we had the starting image, we copied the value, and then where did we set the value? So every time the mouse moves, we called this. So here we will make some changes. So we will do this.attributes.onChange, and we will call the onChange with the new value for the image. That way we can read it above in the other component. Then we will check for other use. So there is no other use except at the start. So here we will read the value as not a prop. Next, I can update my code in the participate modal. Here I can remove all of the props. Here I can remove the prop. Here I don't need to change, but then I need to add a non-change value, and this.image equals value. And this should kind of work, at least for the props stuff. Here I see a props we can replace with attributes. And here we will do a bit more changes. So Do we still have some props? Do we still have some prop? No, some props? No. So that's good. But now we have the config and init stuff. So on init becomes on init. But again, I think I will drop the Flarum component because there is no real need. So the way we will do this, so we will drop the component. So I can remove this import. I don't need to call the parent, but now I need to access the attributes from the vnode object. So this does not need to change, I think. Now this.attrs.image becomes vnode.attrs.image. I think that's the only thing that needs to change here at the top. Next, config. So here we had the config, and if it was initialized, it stops running. So basically it was an onCreate. It was an onCreate callback. So we can use onCreate in the new Mithril. That's good. Next, we already use this. No, we cannot use this.element. We need to use vnode.dom. vnode.dom, vnode.dom. Here as well, vnode.dom. Preview context. Yes. Did we remove the mouse move listener? It seems like we didn't. Oh no, we did. On unload. Okay, yeah, that's nice. Okay, so this was working. Next, this does not need to change. Mouse move. Now we need to access the attributes inside of mouse move. So where is mouse move called? Let's ignore the dist files. PHP Storm always tries to find stuff inside of the dist files. So where is mouse move called? It's called here, and it's called here. And we need to pass the vnode. So here we pass the vnode, and yes. So the second argument will be the, oh no, it will become the first. So I think it will become the first. So if I do it like this, vnode event, next I go to the other use case, I pass the vnode. vnode.onChange, no, not vnode.attrs.onChange, vnode. This one also needs a vnode, so can I pass the vnode last? Oh no, there was. Now let's pass the vnode first. That way it's clear. Let's pass the vnode like this. Other use case. Here, do we have access to the vnode? Yeah, that's kind of a benefit of the Flarum component, is that you don't need to pass the vnode around because you have an access to it via the dist.attributes. But I don't like that very much because then it can be out of sync with the parameters. Yeah, in this case, even in this case, I think it could create some issues with the way the image works, but this will work fine. So here we also need the vnode inside of update preview. Oh yeah, there is a lot of stuff. So where do we call this from? So let's pass vnode. Oh yeah, there will be a bunch of them, but yeah, let's do it like this anyway. So you don't need to worry about this too much if you use the Flarum components. I just like to do things differently. Okay, I think we did it. So now this is no longer a Flarum component. Let's check for prop again. No, attribute. So attributes. I think that's all good. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at how it's called. So here we had the pumpkin canvas. Next, we need to use this with the M syntax because we no longer have the component shortcut. And I think we should be good to go. Oh, we still had a prop. Oh yeah, we still had a prop somewhere here. It was with the image, but now we can remove it because we refactored the component, but we need to call the component with the M syntax as well, like this. And I think that's good. Was this one used somewhere else? No. And is the on before, so on unload, does that one still exist there? Let's check. Was there a node for the on unload? Oh yeah, now it's no longer context.onUnload, it's onRemove. So we will call this one onRemove. I'm not actually sure the code previously worked because we had to do it another way. But anyway, okay. Let's check if it works now. So is the compilation still okay? Yes, the compilation is still okay. Let's go to beta 14. Let's refresh. Cool, we still have an error. m.deferred is not a function. Where do we have a deferred? Okay, let's do a quick search. So find in path deferred. Oh, cool. So here we had a promise. This was returning a promise. Okay, so here we need to return a promise, but I never know how we do it with real promises. So let's just go to the documentation and let's see. So do we see the resolve function? Promise.resolve. I think we need to use this one. We can just do like this and like that. I think this is a new way of doing it. Oh, there might even have been deferred. Yeah, here it just tells you that you need to... Yeah, here it just says that we need to replace deferred with promise. Okay, now let's go back to the forum. Let's see if the error is fixed. Cool, there is no longer any error. There is nothing, but we didn't participate yet. Let's open the modal. And we have a problem. Oh no, it's again one of these problems with the modal. I don't know why this constantly happens. There are many problems still in Flarum with those modals. There is one in the admin where you open the modal and it closes immediately. Oh, so what's happening? No, when you click, it refreshes the page. What? What is happening? So on init, refresh. Why does clicking on participate? So when you click participate, it should open a modal. Oh. So here we use on. That's interesting. So I created a callback that's supposed to be called when you... Oh, that's why everything is broken. So in the past, I made a callback so that when you save the thing here, it calls the onCreate. It calls an onCreate callback. The problem is that the name of the callback is now a Mitchell function. So actually by doing this, I think I'm completely breaking the modal because it replaces the onCreate callback of the modal. Okay, so we need to rename this one. So we will, let's just call it onSave. This one is not used by Mitchell, and here we can also call it onSave. Still, I don't know why it refreshes the page, but maybe it has something to do with that because, yeah, it was something to do with that. Okay, so now it still opens. Does my fantastic drawing still work? So we still have the problem if we go too fast, it jumps stuff, but... Oh, okay, so the tool change does not work. And the reason it does not work, yeah, that's because of the prop stuff. So the problem here is that it's passed from the onCreate, so then it continues to use the first value. How can I do this? Problem is kind of like every time we redraw, we should update the event listener. That's not going to work. I think we might need to use the prop here. So the problem is that when you draw, we use a vnode, but the vnode is the same one from mouse move, and mouse move, this one is defined when the listener is created. And then, yeah. Oh, and yeah, the reason that we accepted the thing without parameters is for the case when we just show the drawing. So what do I do with this? I think I will have to use the prop, which is now called stream. I would love to not use it, but how can I do this otherwise? I need to store I need to store the thing when it changes. What I can do, I could save it, I could do a non-update. I don't know if the onUpdate is called when the attributes change, but not the DOM. So many questions. It's already getting more complicated than expected. So Mitchell, do we have the life cycle stuff? Where is it? Life cycle methods. On update. No, so on update will only run if something changes in the DOM, so not when there is a redraw. So we kind of have to use the view for that. So let's use the view then. So this is not very pretty, but that's kind of the only way without using the stream, which is not really pretty either, in my opinion. So what we will do, we will store the two tools. So we had the tool with, and we had the tool shape. So these two will become variables here, and we will read the value from the attributes on every view event. So that way they are kept up to date, and then here we will read them from the this. like this. This means we no longer need the v node here. So we can change the code. So here we no longer need it. Here we no longer need it. And this probably means that here we don't need it either. Okay, maybe I should have done some Control Z action, but okay, let's just revert this by hand. Oh, I could have done a search and replace. Okay, and then here we still need this for the unchange. But again, the unchange could change. Let's assume that it won't. Let's keep this like this. Okay. Let's go back to the code and see if this fixes my problem. So we can still draw. Can we change the tool? Yes, we can change the tool. Okay, I think we will go with this. And then the size. Yeah, I think we will go with this. Let's test if there is a problem. Oh, first good news, the submit does not work. So why is the submit button not enabled? So it's disabled. Yeah, okay. So there must have been an error. Yes, there were some errors. This.image is not a function. Okay. So now let's do an actual participation. Let's try this. Submit. Okay. And I think we are done now with the JavaScript. And we can switch to the PHP. And here we can see the error. Debug. Call to undefined function arrayGet. We know this one. We know it well. We need to change it. Okay, let's go to the PHP side. So let's start with extend.php. Let's take a look. Nothing deprecated. This I think is still good. Everything else here is still good. We can also update the PHP version. So if I go to language, PHP, let's just put the 7.2, that way PHP Storm is happy and it removes the warning here. Okay, let's go file by file. So we have a single model, it's called entry, it extends abstract model, looking good. Okay, let's go folder by folder. So we have a content file, yes, because we preload some stuff. So here it's just a standard class with an invoke. I think this will still work. Here we can satisfy PHP Storm and add the ext.json to the composer file. So I think this is good. Let's go to the controllers. So here we have a few things. Here we use the new one already. So arrayGet is already good. But we use the assert permission, so this one we need to change, and here we need to move the actor here and call assert can on the actor, like this. All good. Let's go to the next one. So here we have again assert permission trait. We will remove just the trait. We have some repositories. Here we can change. So we had the actor and we can do assert can like this. Yes. Still good, still good. What do we have here? What is load? Include. This is not implemented. What was that? This was already present in the code, so I guess this was copied from Flarum source code. Let's take a quick look at the Flarum source code. So if I go to File, and here we are inside of the searcher. So let's take a look at something from the core user searcher. Oh yes, we had the load, and then how is it used? So like, what is that used for? It's used for eager loading, but why is it like that? Do we have some eager loading here? Because we will load the users. Yeah, it would make sense to load it, even the likes. So let's actually keep that working. So here we had the load. Yeah, so we need to do this like in core. So the reason there is this load stuff is to do the on the Mithril, no, not the Mithril. So we use the Laravel Eloquent thing, and in Eloquent you can preload, you can eager load relationships, and that's actually what's happening here. And why is it called discussions? It should be called entries. There is definitely some copy pasting that happened in the past. So let's call this one entries, and then we can call entries load. That way we can benefit from the so when we load the user who owns the entry, and when we load the likes, we can do it like this. That way Laravel will load everything in 3 requests total instead of one for the list and 2 requests for every object. So with 20 results, oh, there is 12. So that would mean previously we had 25 SQL requests. Now we are down to 3. So not bad, I guess. Assert can, this one needs, oh no, we already fixed it. I think we are good. We can continue. Reget, yeah, all of this looked good. Here, so again, we have some assert permission, which we need to change. Like this. Here we have the reget that was causing issues. Looking good. Seems to be okay. Update. So here we can again remove the assert. We can move this like this. Replace the reget with reget. How do you call these? I think I'm always calling them in my head, but for me this one is called arget. I don't know about you, but arget. Anything else to change? It's looking okay. Good. Let's go to extenders. Well, this one is pretty simple. I think we don't need to change anything here. Policy. This one probably okay. Entry searcher, although this one does not do much. This one we already took a look at, I think it's okay. Serializer. Looks good. Validator. Looks good as well. Seems like we are good. Let's try out the extension. Let's go back here. Let's refresh for good measure. Let's do a participation. So like this. Nice. Submit. Okay, now it exists. can like. Seems to work. I can even, it seems like it's preloaded because I don't see the loading screen at all. Yep, looks good. Let's have a second user and let's create another participation. Okay, so root not found. Okay, because the root, how does it work? The root, so when the root is defined, we handle it with the entries thing. And here we test, oh yeah, we get the entries. And if we are not allowed, we return a 404 error. And the entries are controlled by a permission that says who can view. So I need to adjust the permissions. So if I go to permissions here, so let's update this. So let's put everyone can view, members can like, members can participate, and moderators can moderate. Let's go with this. Let's refresh. So now if I go to the carving contest, now I can see it even though I'm a guest. Let's log in with the user. Let's create a participation. I should fix this so that when you draw quickly, it does not jump. Okay, let's participate with this. Okay, so now I have made a new participation and it went at the start because it's sorted by recently posted. So if I do least recent, it's the other one. If I do fewer likes, like this, and most likes, seems like it works as intended. So now if I like this one as well, now we have 2 people liking it. Looking good. Okay. Yeah. So we still have some time. So it took a bit more than an hour to do the update. Yeah, that's a lot of work to update these extensions for beta 14. Okay, so what I wanted to change. I wanted to add a setting to control the maximum number of participations that someone can make. Because that's a problem right now. People can participate as many times as they want and they can really spam the thing. So we will make a setting that controls how many participations you can make. And the other thing I wanted to do is to show the creations on the user profile. So here I wanted to add a new tab. And when you go to the tab, it shows you the pumpkins made by that user. That was the idea. I want to do these 2 things in the next hour. So I guess let's get started and let me know if you have any question or if you would like something to be done, to see something done. Yeah, there's a bit of a conflict because we use the spider icon. Why did we use the spider icon? Was there no pumpkin, or maybe pumpkin was a premium icon? We could also make a pumpkin icon, but it will not be super interesting for the stream. Yeah, that was the problem. We have icons, but they are premium, so people would not have them on their forum. So yeah, sadly we have the spider as the icon, but yeah, it's still Halloween, so yeah, that works. Okay, so actually the 2 features I want to do, they are connected because to be able to limit the number of creations, like how to say that. So I will light up additional lamps. So I need to be able, so how to say that? When I need to check the number of creations made by a user when they try to submit a new one. I can use, I could do, so I will do the example. So, oh no, first I will commit. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Let's finish the update for beta 14 before doing any crazy stuff. So let's just check what else we had here. So yeah, I will replace the license. So let me copy the license from another project. So what did I have? So this one. Yeah. So I like to use txt now for the extension for the license. How do I get this updated? What did I do? No, I replaced the Flarum license. I need to replace my extension license. No, and I deleted the wrong file. Let's delete the license.md, replace with license.txt, which is similar. And now I can do 2019. Oh, let's do it correctly. 2019, 2020. Like this. And in the README, what do we need to change? So I think we can remove the Flarum extension line. We might need to update the link to the license. No, there is no link. There is a shield. This one does not change. This extension was written. Is there a typo? Written? I never. Oh no, it's a warning about style. Disable passive voice rule. What? It became PHP Storm has become kind of a word processing application now. It tells me how to write English. Just tell me the typos. So here we will need to add a new link at some time because we had part 1, part 2 of the live stream, and now we are inside of the new stream. Actually, I think I could put the link already. Can I do it? Let's just do it. This is Inception. It's like we are in the video, but I can put the link to the video inside of the video. Look. Inception. This is the link to this very video. I can even watch myself. Oh, it opened in another tab. Yeah, I can watch myself writing the link. I can even do it because there is a delay, so I can see myself doing it again. Okay, so now that's done. So we have the link. Here we will remove the bazaar reference, and we will keep it like that. I think now it's done. Did we have a link for discuss? Or was this one not? Oh, where is this? What? Oh, it's okay. Oh yeah, there is a link, so we can add the link to the. We can add the link to discuss. So this was the thread. Yes, and we can also add this one inside of here. No, we already had it. Okay, good. So I think now we have covered everything that was necessary for the beta 14 update. So yeah. Okay, so let's call this one done. Let's commit. So new commit. There are some changes. Yes, add to VCS. Yes. Let's review what changed. Sounds good. Yes. Log file, index, entry. Okay, seems like it's good. So what I will do, I will not commit the files because I will do changes immediately afterwards. So let's not include the dist file changes. I will make a commit that will be just compilation. All good. Okay, now, yeah, let's call this one beta 14 update. And oh yeah, let me check something. I think in my haste, I made some other changes, but I think I'm still one Oktoberfest pull request short. Yeah, I'm still one pull request short. So this will be a new pull request so that I can at least finish the Oktoberfest challenge. I think I have just 2 days left to do it. I made some other pull requests, but I think they didn't count. So yeah, so we will we will make this as a pull request later. Yeah, so but if we want to do that, we will create a new branch. So check out. Let's create a beta 14 branch, and now we can do the commit beta 14 update. Let's not include the dist files. Push. Good. And let's push to GitHub. That way it's backed up. Good. Okay, let's continue. So now, so before I was saying, the good thing about the two features I want to do is like they use the same thing. So the way I could do it is like when I create a new entry. Where is it? So here I just check that you can participate. What I could do here is add some kind of check, take the actor, take the entries somehow, and I could count them, and I can check if it is above or below a value. This is good, but there is one downside, is that I don't want to do that just when you submit. I also want to disable the button visually. And the problem is that if I do that, every time you load up the forum, it will be a bit heavy on the database. So it's actually better if I store this value every time it changes inside of the user table, and then I can just check the value because the user is already loaded. And the good thing is that I also want to show the number of entries on the user profiles. So that's perfect. I can use the same value. We'll keep track of the number here. The column will take track of this value, and I can also use that value then to show on the profile, to show a number next to the link. That way, again, I don't need to load the full list of entries to know how many this user made. So that's how we will do it. So we will not use it like this. We will add a new column. So let's create a new migration. Let's call it 2020 1031 01 alter users add entry count. And now I just want to check how core names its extension, its count. I never know, so I cannot go to it. So let's go to here. Let's find the user .php. No, that's not the correct one. So how is it called? It's called comment count and discussion count with this name in singular. So we will do the same. We will call it entry count column. Yes, and now here we can use migration, add the columns, user, and we will add a new column that's called, like I said, entry count. Actually, it will be a bit longer. It will be carving contest entry count, like this. Next, this we will replace with an import. Replace with alias. Why does it make... No, I just wanted an import. But anyway. Now I have my import, and this will be a column of type. I will use the same as Flarum. I think it will be integer, and it will be unsigned true and default 0. I think that will be sufficient. Yeah. Yeah, I see. Yeah, I missed your comment. Yeah, it was already from 10 minutes ago, Christian. Yeah, yeah, the text, the README. Yeah, yeah, of course I could write something else, but in this case, yeah, I could say I wrote this extension live on YouTube. Anyway, we will keep it like that. My confusion is that the same, I think the same underline is used for typos and grammar, but I mostly care about typos. Yeah, okay. I think this would work. Let's do other things. So now we need to add a relationship to the user so that we can access the user entries from the user model. To do that, we will use a new extender. So here we can call the extend model. We will extend the user. We will have an has. How does that work? Oh yeah, I miss the parenthesis. That's why the autocomplete is not working. And here we have has many. Yes, has many entry like this. And what do I need to input? Related. I never know what we need to put in these parameters. Oh no, first it's the name. Okay, so the name will be carving contest entries. Okay, so then related is the model. Then we have foreign key. This one is just called use. It must be user ID. Oh yeah, but I think I don't need it. I think it's all good. Laravel will be able to guess. The name of the table will be obtained from the model. Then the name of the foreign key will be guessed based on the user. This one is guessable, so that's all good. So now this means I can count the entries. So what we will do now, we will update the count value. So yeah, we don't use, in this extension, we don't use stores. No, not stores. How did I call it? Repository. I have not created an entry repository. Here, everything is in the controllers. And sometimes I find it's easier to understand when it's like that. Yeah, but if it was more complex, I would probably move the logic of creating entries inside another class. But now what we will do, so like every time it changes, we will calculate the new value. So here we created a new entry, so we will take the actor and we will update the value. So the column is called carving contest entry count. So here we will calculate it again. How can I? What's the best? So I can do actor. I could just do +1, but then it might be out of sync. What I will do, I will use my new relationship and I will do this. So this is what I call the expensive SQL request. But here we only do it when you create a new entry. So that's all good. And yes. But we also need to do it when the entry is deleted. So here, if we delete the entry, next we need to take the entry, we need to access the user. Can we do this? Yes. User. And we need to update the count. Why is it underlined? Potentially polymorphic call. Yeah, that's good. Oh, that's because entry. Oh, okay, that's because I didn't tag. I would love if PHP Storm was able to know what the find or fail method does. But here it assumes that the return will be of class model or collection or builder or null. But here it should be able to know that if you call it an entry, it should return an entry model. Anyway, so now that's good. I don't know if I can still access this property after it was deleted. I think I can. Anyway, we will know soon enough if it does not work. So yeah. Next, we can test. Can we test if it works? I will make a way so that we can see the value inside of the application, because I don't like to go in the database every time. So here in index, I will add a new extend. I will extend the user page. I will extend, I think it's called nav items as well. So this is perfect. We can keep this mostly identical. We will add a new link button. Let's remove this for now. No, we will actually show only... Here we have a choice with the permission. We can show the page on every user profile, even if they are not allowed to participate. Or we can only show the page on users who are allowed to participate. But if we only show it on users who are allowed to participate, then this means we expose who is allowed to participate, because then the attributes will need to be public. So for now, we will just show the page for everyone. Carving contest. For now, it will just be a link to this, but I will go to the user page and I will check how the other links are made. So let's go to the user page. Let's go to the nav items, and here we can see we have a badge for the count, which is inside of the button. That's good, that's good. Okay, so we will do the same. We will create a badge. So the value here, the children becomes an array. We will add a space, and we will add a span with this class, and inside of here we will show the how do we access the user. We can access the user with this.user. And here we will access attribute, and we will access the new attribute which I just made, which is called, how do we call it? So I can keep the full name. I can go this.user.attribute carving contest entry count, but I could also name it differently. Usually in the front end, the names use camel case, so I think we will use camel case in the front end. And I have the choice here of the name. I don't need to name it the same as the database, because actually this will be in the serializer. Right now I don't have access to it. I need to expose it in the serializer. And in the serializer I can choose another name if I want. Let's just put a little global M so that PHP Storm is happy. Yeah, I think that's good. Yes. Now let's expose this value, or maybe I can show you what it looks like right now. So if I go to the forum right now, there shouldn't be any error. There is a new link, and there is the badge, I think. It must be here. Button badge, but there is nothing inside because the attribute with the number is not public yet. And also I didn't migrate the database. So let's try to do things kind of in order. So let's migrate the database. So Flarum migrate. I made a mistake with the table name. It's called users with an S. Now it works. If I refresh, there is still no change because the attribute is still in the database now, but it's not public. To make it public, we need to add it to the user serializer. So here we have a serializer for the entry, but we want to do something with an existing serializer. It's a user serializer. To do that, we will go here. We will create a new extender. Or maybe what we can do. We had a discussion with Alexander and the Flarum team, like, why do I use extenders when I could use service providers? And that's a good question, because yeah, after a little discussion, first I thought there was a difference, but actually there is not really a difference. So let's do this. Let's try this out in this live stream. So let's create a new namespace, which will be called providers. And now we will use, instead of creating a custom extender, we will create a provider. So it will be user attribute provider. I think I don't even need to call it with provider in the name. Let's just do like we did for extenders, but let's do this with providers. So this one will be called user attributes. We will extend the service provider. That's not the right one. That's the one. And here we can have the register function. And we can do basically the same. So let's take a look how it looked with the forum extender. So we need to listen to the serializing event. So we will do this. We can access application. How can we access container? No, we can access application. Here we can do, we can resolve, so we can do the same. We can access events. We can do it like this, events. And I will copy this. And listen to the serializing event. And then I can make a class. I can make not a class. I can make, let's copy everything. It will be a lot of the same. So we listen to the serializing event. We have a function that will be called when this event is triggered. Inside of the trigger, we check, is it the serializer off? So here, not the forum serializer, it will be the user serializer. And if it is the user serializer, we will add carving contest entry count. And this value will be event model carving contest entry count, which is the name of the database column. And now last one thing, I only want, I said I didn't want to expose who can participate. But on the other hand, I don't want to show I don't want to show this page to users who cannot see the contest. So this I can do. So I think there is already an attribute here which says who can view. So actually in the front end, I can do, oh yeah, it was the same permission. Yeah, so if you cannot view, I will not add the link at all to any profile. Let's do the opposite. Let's do a negative permission, negative return here, like this. And we also want to check this permission in the backend, so we can do actor can view, and we can do this here. So if the serializer is a user and the actor can view, then we show how many participation this particular this user has. We do not check if this user that's serialized can. We check if the actor who is currently viewing the forum can, and then we show them the count for everyone. Good. And next we need to register this service provider. To do that, we will use the callback function, because for now there is no extender, but there will be an extender in a future version. So here we can do the container and container no, we need to use the application contracts foundation application register, and here we can put the providers user attribute class like this, and I think that will work. And if that works good, we will also replace this extender with the provider. That way it will serve as a good example for the change that we might do in Flarum. Okay, let's go back. I have already too many things open. Let's check, is there... oh, okay, so there is a problem. Flarum encountered a boot error. Closure must be an instance of application. Interesting. That looks like a problem with Flarum. So installed. Let me check in the source code. So we have the installed app. Here we are in the source code of Flarum. I just want to check if I see an obvious reason for what just happened. Container. No, where is the code? It's not here that I was expecting. So site installed app, uninstalled app. Oh, okay, so that's the installed site. Okay, that's the place. Here we have a container, which is an instance of container. We have the application config, yeah, container. Where are the aliases defined? Because here the problem is that I'm requesting an instance of application through the IOC container of Laravel, but I'm getting something that does not match. And the only possibility is that something has been bound in the container with the wrong interface. Problem is that to go back to this, I need to know where it might have been defined. I've got the container when I request the application. So, but where is that alias defined? Is it something from Laravel or something from Flarum? And here it does not bound the app. I don't know where the app is registered. Provider. I'm not sure where this might come from. How do I do this? Because the problem is that I need the app. I need the app to register a service provider. I have no other solution. I need this stuff. I need this variable which is called Laravel here. But it's not in the container. So this means when I use a callback, like this, I cannot access something that allows me to register a provider. How did I do it? So I need to find another extension where I do it. Maybe I have not updated it for beta 14 yet. And maybe there will be a problem. So, no. So I will check out an extension that I know uses that, but it's not a public extension, so I will check that on my other screen. So here I resolved the application and I called register. So I did the same thing. Maybe it was not the same application. Oh, I was resolving the Flarum Foundation application. Let's try that just in case. So let's try to resolve that one. We can call this app. Okay, that works. Yes, that works. But this one does not extend. What? This one does not extend the Laravel application. Okay, so we are not actually exposing the Laravel application. I think the problem is somewhere here with my other problem is that I ask for application. Somehow Laravel must map the application to app, but in app we put the container in Flarum. But I don't know where that alias is actually defined. Anyway, we will do that another time outside of this stream. It's taking enough time already. We are already close to the end, but I will try to finish these two features. So now we have a number. It's not up to date. So let's go back to the contest. Let's participate another time. Oh, it's not. Oh. And that's another problem. If I draw, so this is a problem with what I did before. So it's not triggering a redraw anymore when you move the when you draw on it. So this means that if you name it first and then draw, this one never updates until there is a redraw in Mithril. So if I do a redraw here, then it's okay. Problem is I don't want to do a redraw every time the image changes because that will be a waste of resources. I'm not sure what's the best way to do that. That was also a problem with the old system. It was like it was redrawing like crazy, I think. It was probably redrawing every single time you moved the mouse. And it was okay because nothing changed in the DOM. But that was still a lot of processing. What we will do. So when the image changes, because disabled, what I will do, so I had disabled, it was disabled if there was no name and no image. I will make disabled into its own property. Disabled will be true by default. And I will create a new method, check if disabled. And this will set, so this dot disabled equals this. And now this this will happen when you edit the name or when you edit the image. And then we just need the last thing, we need to redraw if it changed. So we do it like this, and then here we check if previously disabled is different from this disabled, redraw. And we add a comment so that we know what it was. So handle redraw when the image changes. because we won't retro every time it changes. Like this. Handle disabled state retro when the image changes. I think this will work. Okay. Let's check this. So this should actually have been inside of the other pull request. So this is the same order as before, but now if we do it again, first edit the name, that's not enough to submit. Now we draw, and okay, that's good enough right from the start. And that's probably good. Okay. What was I doing when I noticed that problem? I don't remember. What? How did I jump from the application to this? Oh yeah, I wanted to update the number of submission. Yeah, okay, so let's submit. Okay, and now we can go back to the user profile. Where is it? Here. If I refresh, nothing changed. Fantastic. Because I updated the number, but I did not save. How unfortunate. So here we need to not only update the value, but also save the user. And here same thing, we need to save the, here it's called actor. Good. Let's try again. So let's create a new submission. Okay, let's go back to the profile. I will put them in the other order like this. So now it updated and it directly updated to the correct number 3. Let's try to delete one. So delete one of the submissions. Oops, something went wrong. There was no... Oh, I forgot to check some things in the beta 14 update. I did not try to delete one. Refresh entries is not a function. So there is another problem with my page. So when we delete, where is the delete button? So this is the delete button. There is a confirmation, delete, and then it refreshes. Refresh entries. Is it not called? Oh, but oh, that was a problem. Even I did not rename the function. It was just called refresh. So this must have been an error that was in the extension from. It must date back to my previous stream. Did I not delete any submission? Did no one notice that? Okay, now it works. Good. Let's see if the number updated. Yes, it went back to 2. All good. But now it still does not, there is still not a page for that. What do we add first, the limit or the page? Let's do the limit because it's the easiest. So let's create a new settings modal. So let's go to admin, let's create a new folder, let's call it components. Let's create a new component, let's call it settings modal. Next, let's do my favorite activity. We go to catch the fish and we will do some copy pasting because we like copy pasting. Let's go here, let's copy everything. We can even call this rename. What do I hear? It's probably not someone celebrating Halloween. No one is doing that. In my village, no one celebrates Halloween anymore since a few years, it seems. And they will certainly not start again in 2020. So I don't know what the sound is. So what did I want to rename? I wanted to call the folder modals. Next, here we have a modal, but I will just call it settings modal. I will call the other settings base, settings modal. I don't need a switch. I can keep the translation prefix. It will be called carving. How is it called? Is it just carving contest? No, it's Clark carving contest. So let's copy. No, this is the translation prefix. The settings prefix will be just carving contest. Title, we have a title. Next we can delete everything except one input, and this input will be called max submissions, and we will put it like this, and minimum will be 0, but 0 will actually be no limit. Step 1. And I think that's good. That's good. Next, yeah, that's good. Let's make the translations for this. So admin, we will add a new area. It will be called settings. We have the title, carving contest settings, and here we will have max submissions per user. Good to go. I think we have that good. Next we can copy the code that opens the modal. Let's go back to admin. We need this. Let's copy this. Let's go back to index.js in the admin. We can do this at the top. Here we need the name of the extension, like this, and here we need the name of the modal, which is called settings modal. And we should be good. Let's try. Let's go to the admin panel, refresh. Let's go to extensions, and let's see, can we open? Yes, and we have a single setting max submissions per user. Okay, now let's implement the logic that will handle that value. So now when you submit, yeah, actually, like I said before, we have the cached, we calculate the number and we store it. That way we can use it in the front end. But what I could still calculate it live before submitting an entry. That way I'm extra certain that it's good. But then I cannot put it inside of the policy. No, okay, never mind. We will use this value. So now I need to change my policy because, so what I could do, so in the policy, where is the policy? Okay, it's here. So, oh, there is not a policy for create. So let's create a new policy that will handle the creation of an entry. So this one does not take an entry, actually, it will just take the actor, and we need to say whether the actor is allowed to do it. And currently, the way it works, it checks for assert can this. So what we have currently will be this user can carving contest.participate, and this is the name of a permission, so it's retrieved from the permission from the permissions of the user. Here we can also use has permission, and it does the same. That's basically it. So if we wanted to change what we have now, here we can have assert can participate. Oh, it was participate. Yeah, so we will call this one create, and here we use entry and we use the class. So this does the same as before, but instead of calling a can attribute, a can like checking something against the gate, the permission gate. Now we check it against entry, which means Flarum will check for policies. It will find this policy, which is for the entry class. It will find that there is a method with the same name as the ability that we did. And inside of here, we have the same logic as before. Okay, but here what I will do, so here I can add a new check. I can add the actor must have permission and the actor must so how do I so I will do it. So if they cannot participate, we return false right away. Otherwise, we fetch the settings because we will need to load the settings from Flarum. I put some highlighting for PHP Storm like this. Next, I will retrieve the settings that contains my value. So my value is settings modal. This one has this prefix and this name. So I get this value. I will default it to 0 like this. I don't even really need to do that, I think. So I will I will do it like this. That way an empty string will also get transformed into 0. No, this might do, so I need to do it like this. Okay. Yeah, and so this is the number of entries. No, I don't need to do this, so I can just put it inside of max max submissions. Oh, but maybe I should have called it max entries. Let's rename this, so let's call this max entries per user. Because technically we might want in the future to add the maximum number of total entries. Max entries per user. Let's rename the translation. Max submissions per user. We can keep the translation like this. So this one will be like this. Max submission. We can just call it max entries. Yes. And now if max entries is greater than 0, then we will return whether actor count is smaller than max entries. And otherwise, we will just return true. Like this. Good. Okay, now let's try this out. So let's go back, refresh. Okay, so participate, yeah. So the button is still visible because the button is not using the policy. So we will also use the policy for the button. So forum attributes, so here we will also change. So instead of carving contest can participate, this one will be called just create, and again we will use the entry class like this. There is something else we might want to change here, but nah, let's go with this. It's taking enough time already. So now I can still create. Let's check. So if I make it so that where is the admin panel? So if I configure so that you can only make one, my admin already has one. So if I save this, it should prevent the admin from participating. It does not seem to be the case. So admin already has 2. They can still do more. Maybe that's because they are an admin. Let's go back to the user and see if it works on this side. So user will participate. If I refresh, I can still participate, at least visually. I can still participate, so it's not working. It's not working. So let's debug this. So can create. Oh, let's try one more time. Yeah, it's not working at all. So let's check the policy. So is this policy called at all? That's kind of the first question. So let's put a stop here and let's see if the policy is called. Okay, the policy is called. So now let's do a dump. Let's do a dump of the value. It's null. Carving contest max entries per user. So it seems like the settings were not saved. Let's go back to the admin panel, refresh. Let's remove this so we can load the admin panel. No, it did not save. It did not save. Did I forget to refresh and it saved with the old name maybe? Maybe it was the old name. Okay, it's working now, so I guess I forgot to refresh the admin panel after changing the name probably. So now if I go back to the user, the button is gone. The button is gone, perfect. Yeah, and if I try to post, so how can I do this? So I want to show you another problem, but I will not have time to fix it tonight. So if I make it 4, so you can do 4, I can make a force participation. Problem is it did not refresh my permission, so I still see the button, but if I tried to submit, now I get you do not have permission to do that. So the problem is that we cannot refresh that as easily. To refresh it, we need to do something more complicated, and I will not have time to do it. We are already out of time. But I will still finish this. Do I want... So we will not have time to do the profile thing. Maybe it will be for next week. Yeah. I still would like to fix this problem because it's a big issue if it does not refresh. But before doing that, I want to do something else. I want to disable the button and write on the button that you have exceeded your number of participations. I don't want to do like now where the button just disappears when you have enough entries. But to do that we have a problem because we have a policy, but the policy just says true or false. It does not say why you cannot participate. So there are two solutions to this problem. We can use the deny feature of policies. We can actually give a reason to denying a policy. Or we can make two policies. And I kind of like the second option better. So I will create two policies and one will be a supersede of the other. So one policy will be create if not reached limit. And this one will basically be the one we had before. So this one will just check, could this actor create an entry if they did not have reached the limit. And then we will have a second policy. This one will call the first one, so it will call the first policy. So here I will call the first policy. So if that first policy fails, this one will fail as well. But now we have additional logic here. So now we have two policies. So we know that if this one succeeds, but this one does not, it means the user reached the limit. If neither succeeds, it means the user is not allowed to participate at all. So now we can see the difference, kind of. We need to expose this to the front end. Yeah, I will do what I said before. I will make the fix to the not refreshing problem tonight. So the way to refresh, the way to fix the not refreshing problem. Right now, the permission is inside the Flarum serializer. Flarum serializer is never refreshed. When you load the Flarum, the values from the Flarum serializer are loaded and then they are never updated again. And that's the problem. So technically, we could load these values again with an API request just for that. That's kind of what we will do, but the way Flarum does it, Flarum has this kind of problem, like the number of notifications, for example. The number of notifications, it's not in the Flarum serializer. It's in the current user serializer. And what you can see is that if I go back to the home page, let me show you, I hope it still works in beta 14. You can see that when I clicked to go to the home page, two things happen. It retrieves the list of discussions, but also it makes a request to the API, and you can see it gets the user 102 from the API, and user 102 happens to be the user that's currently connected. So actually, when you do some things, like when you go back to the home page, it reloads the user. And the reason it does that is because on the user model, there is the list of the last time you read everything. This is a property on the user. The number of notifications, it's a property on the user. So when you go back to the home page, it gets this new value. And there are other situations on the forum where it reloads the user to get these updated values. So what we will do the same. We will put the permission on the current user serializer, and then we will trigger the same request that happens when you go back to the home page. We will refresh the user. That way the store will update with the new value, and we will do that when you submit your submission. Actually, we might not even need to do it. We might not even need to refresh the user, because when we create a new submission, the user is already in the payload. I cannot show you because now the button is gone, of course. Let's change the permission so that we can again create a submission. So let's set it back to 0. So when I participate, you can see that if I submit, in my first request, there should be the user. You see included user, and it will always be the current user. So actually, if we put the new permission inside of here, we don't even need to make an additional API request. It's already in the payload, and Flarum will put it in the store. So we do that. So we move the can participate, will move. It will move to the user attributes. So actually, we already have a user attribute serializer. But we don't want to put this on every single user. Technically, we could, it will not hurt, but we will add an additional test. Is it the current user serializer? And if that's the case, we add this. Yeah, for now, let's just keep it like this. Let's remove it from here. That's already done. Technically, we could also move these other permissions, but these ones are unlikely to change. I could move everything and then I can get rid of this extender. I kind of like that idea. Let's see, where are these permissions used? So here we used app.forum.attribute, so now we will use app.session.user.attribute to access the value for the current user. Can view, and then Yeah, okay, let's move everything. So this was a can view, but here we will have the can moderate and the most important one, can participate. It's here. So forum.attributes, is this one still used somewhere else? I think that's all of it. How do we control who can like? How is that controlled? Was there a... There is a permission, but it's not synced to the front end? What is this magic? Can everyone see the button? Can like, delete. Oh, we might as well expose the like. Where is the like button? Okay, it's here. Entry can like. Oh, it's already on the entry. The can like is per entry. Okay, that works as well. Okay, so nothing to change there. So now I change the reference. I need to move everything to... I can move everything to the user serializer, to the current user serializer. I can actually drop my forum attributes completely. Here I can remove it. And here, what I can do, I can also do, it like I prefer now. I can do plus equal, and then I can add my values like this. It's not a lot shorter, but I like using the plus equals syntax on arrays. It's very satisfying. Like this. View part, and this one will go here. And here, I actually do like to use the has permission function because it's more clear. Like this. Good. Good. Let's see. Does it still work? That's the big question. Or did I make a mistake? No, it still works. And now we will see if the limit works. So, like not the limit, the auto update. So, let's go to carving contest. Let's put the limit at 5. No, I already reached 5, so let's put it 6. Okay, so now I have one participation possible. Let's see. If I participate... No, it did not update. Let's check here. Entries. So we had the response. User. So why is it missing? Is this not working? Current user serializer. Is it not loading this serializer when... Oh, maybe because it's a simple user? How did I do it? I see that I have the terms extension enabled and it works for the terms extension. So let's take a look at the terms extension. Let's see how it's done here. Extenders, user. No, it's something else. Okay, so the current user serializer is only used for it's again one of those complicated things to explain. So there are multiple serializers. There is basic user serializer, which I will use. So let me add this one. So this way you will see all of them. So there is the basic user serializer. Or maybe, so because there are these three serializers. So there is basic, there is user, and there is current user. Current user, it extends user serializer. And it's automatically used when the user is the current user. But it's not used when the basic user serializer is used. And in our case, when we return here in store, when we return an entry serializer returns the basic user serializer. So this means what I just added is not loaded in this particular case. So now I could here use the current user serializer when it is the current user, but it's actually just too complex. So what I will do like in the terms extension, I will add, so this permission will go here. So yeah, it's very simple, not complicated at all. So I have the three ones. So user serializer, this is information that we want to put on all users, but only when we get the full user data. Current user serializer, it's the same as this one, but only when this is the current user. So this means we don't need to do the check ourselves to decide if this is the current user. And then we have basic. This one is used only when you want as little information as possible on the user. And it's the one that's used, for example, if you want the owner of a discussion, or in like us, you want the creator of a submission. But we also want to add this additional information. We want to add this. So what we will do, so we will use the basic user serializer, but we also need to check that this is the current user. And to do that, we need to do the check ourselves. So we need to use event model and ID, and we will check that the current model ID is the same as the event actor ID. No, we don't have any. Yeah, there is a check for ease. Can we use this one? Oh yeah, we can use this. It will be a tiny bit shorter. So we check that the actor is the same as the current user, the user that's being serialized. So now it should be refreshed. So, but I need to update the value again. So now let's put let's allow 7 entries. Let's refresh. So now I'm allowed to do one. Let's make an entry, submit, and now you see the button disappeared. So this part works. So now every time the user is part of a relationship in a request, automatically this will update these permissions. And so yeah. Oh no, there is another problem. There is a problem with this, because now when I'm a guest it will not work. I will have to change the logic. Yeah, there is an error. So I will keep the forum. Okay, so let's recreate what I removed. So create new class. So we will still have a forum attributes. In the forum attributes, we will have kind of the same. We will listen for the same event, but we will just listen for forum serializer. I will keep this. I will optimize imports like this. So it will be easier if the can view and can moderate permissions, if those stay inside of the forum serializer, it will be easier. They never change while you have the application open, so there is no need to optimize for them. So here we will actually roll back some of the changes. So this can go back, this can go back as well. Can view, and here we had moderate. So this one can also go back to app.for. Okay, but we need to keep the other one for participate. But here we need to change the check. We need to check that, how is it when, so app. So app.session, yes, so we need to check the app.session.user. So here we have that additional check to make. We need to check that there is a user logged in, and then we check if that particular user can participate. Now this should be good again. Okay. But I'm supposed to be able to see the page. I allowed guests to see, so I should still be able to see the page. Yeah, but because I have not registered my new extender, so now I moved everything to providers just for the experiment. So this one also go here, so forum, attributes. So now, yes, now it renders the link and I can go to the page. Okay. And now we just want to make the last change. It will be the last thing tonight. It will be that we want to disable the button, but we want to keep it visible when you have reached your limit. So I have already created, before I went on a tangent, I have already updated the policy to have two things. Now we just need to change here to pass the two. So carving contest, I will create the other one, could participate. So I will create, this one will be could participate, and this one will read the value of create if not reach limit. So now we have the two values that go to the front end, and in the front end we can do something based on that. So if we can participate, we do this. So how could I do it? So I will create an additional variable because it will be a bit messy otherwise. No, I will create a function. So functions are great because you can return early, and I really like doing that because here I will have an if-else. And doing if-else with ternary attributes, it's just the worst. So I will create, so I already have the like button. I will create one that's called participate button, and this one will return early as possible. So if the user is not connected, we return null. If the user can participate, so let's take this. Yeah, actually, no, I will not avoid the if-else, but I'm able to return from the if-else. So that's great. So next I take the button, and if I can participate, I return my button. And if now I need to, so here there is a return, so this is kind of an if-else. I don't need to put an else because this code will only be reached if this was false anyway. So if could participate, then I will return a different button, and otherwise just return nothing. Good, now I can change this, and here I can call this dot participate button. And I need to change my second button. This one is this one will be, the translation will be already participated. It will be a button without an on-click, and it will be just disabled. So I could create a single, like I could add my logic inside of the button, but because I need to switch the disabled and the translation, and I don't need the click to work, I might just as well render a different button. People will not know that there are two parts of the code. It does not matter. In the front end, it will look the same. So now if we take a look, still nothing. So where am I? I suppose, is the code still compiling? Yes. So I was expecting to be inside of here, but maybe it's not finished. So let's try to log. So let's see, do we have the could participate property? So let's log this. Okay, nothing gets logged. So this code does not appear to run. So what's happening? Let's go above. No. Oh, but I'm logged out. Okay, so that's normal. That's normal. I'm leaving via this. Oh, I was certain that I was still connected. So let's log back in. Okay, now that's what we expected. Okay, so you can see I have my new button that's grayed out and it's missing the translation, so we will add the translation. So participate, already participated. So this one will just say that. Technically you could update it. If you allow people to do more than one submission, maybe you will want to change the text. Already participated. Let's try to write English correctly. Okay, now that's better. That's more user-friendly. People will understand why the button disappeared. So yeah, so now let's try. Let's allow two more. Let's allow two more and see if it works. So now let's allow 9. So I can again participate, do my thing, submit, all good. I can do another one, submit, and now it's gone. So great, that seems to be working. So yeah, you see we made one policy, or like one ability in the policy that's not actually used in the backend. It's only used in the front end. So this create if not reach limit, this one actually only serves the front end, and it's then used here as well in the full policy. But yeah, the reason this one is separated is just for the front end. But this is the actual permission that's used in the backend, which supplements the base, the one from the front end. Okay, I think we will leave it there. There's still a lot that could be added to this extension. Maybe we will take it again before next year, or maybe you will have to wait for next year to see additional features in this extension. So yeah, we will commit the last changes. Let me know if you have last minute things to say. I think that's all good here. We will leave it like here. We have, okay, so we have a serializer that we can remove. Oh yeah, we still have the link on the user page. We have this that does not go anywhere. Don't know if I want to leave it there. I think I will remove it because it's a bit confusing. So in the end, we are not currently using, we are exposing the value to the front end for the number of participations, but we will not use it immediately. So I will remove this. And I will add it again in a future video when we add the page for the user. So yeah, sounds good. Let's refresh. Let's just see that everything still works. Okay, and let's try to delete one once again, just to make sure that it works. And obviously, if admins delete them, then the user should be able to participate again. Yes, that works fine. Let's compile with yarn build, and let's commit everything. There was quite a number of changes. So yeah. So what did we change in the end? we added the number, but we are not showing it, so that's not really an achievement. We added basically the limit. That was it. So yeah. Okay, good. And I will do a separate commit for the dist files because it was multiple at once. So add entry limit and expose entry count for future user page. Add entry limit and expose entry count for future user page. I think that's good. Yeah. Commit. And the other one will be compile JavaScript. Perfect. Was this extension tagged? Let's take a look. Yes, it has tags. So we will tag a release as well. Oh, but first we have the pull request. Yeah, let's finish with the pull request. Let me know if you have any comment. I see we have 4 people watching now, but no one in the chat. Let's create the pull request so that I get my quota. Let's create a label. Hack. How was that label called again? Hacktoberfest. Oktoberfest accepted. So let's put the Oktoberfest accepted. Yes. Like this. And entry limit. Create pull request. Good. And we will merge right away. Ha 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 ha. That's the most evil thing. Next, I can go back to master. Git checkout master, git pull, and what will be the next version? Zero point 2.1. We'll go with 0.2.2. Tag 0.2.2. Git push tags. Perfect. Okay, all good. And the tag should be here. Yes, everything is online. You can check out the code. And yep, let's close what we don't need anymore. Let's go back to the page. And yeah, some possible future additions. So there is what I didn't manage to do today. We could add the page on the user profile to show all of the pumpkins from that user. Something else that will be nice is a button to delete all the entries. Right now you need to go in the database, and with the change we did today, you also need to reset all the counters to 0 on the user table. Yeah, that's the 2 big things I would say: mass delete and user page. There could also be a concept of multiple years, so that just like in Catch the Fish, we could make it so you can create a new round every year so that you can keep the previous entries. Here you would have to delete them. And yeah, another addition, we could allow more flexibility with the pumpkins. For now, you can still only carve, so it's still black and white kind of. there were some people requested the ability to actually draw something, so this could be a spin-off extension to actually make a free drawing with colors instead of just carving. But yeah, I try to keep it simple because otherwise I will never reach the end. Okay, so not super nice pumpkins. First one is kind of the best. We had some nice one here. I think we had the Flarum pumpkin. I think this one is nice. From last year, yes. Okay. So that's the end of the stream. Thank you for watching and thank you for joining. As I didn't know if Saturday would work as well as Sunday. I see I have less people. Yeah, I don't know what people think about doing the live stream on the day of on the special day, like this is Halloween day. So doing the stream on Halloween, I'm not sure if that's the best idea, but yeah, like myself, I had nothing else to do, so I figured if people wanted to join on this day, that would work well. Okay, so let me know in the comments if you have ideas for future streams. You can also leave the comments on the forum. And yeah, leave your ideas. Otherwise, we will probably continue the Sundays of the coming weeks. And we will do a bit more beta 14 updates, but I think people will have enough of that after a while. So I will try to find some original ideas for new extensions. And yeah, so thanks for watching, take care, and see you next time.